Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Your Spiritual Best Friend. I am your host, Josh Sanchez. And man, oh man, oh man, I know it has been a very long time since the last time I did a live stream with you guys, but do not worry. I'm back on my weekly grind now, doing podcasts, having fun with you guys. And I'm also in the midst of doing a lot more awesome stuff. I'm going to get into some of that in this podcast as well. But when it comes to today's podcast, I just wanted to just give you guys just an update. There's this exercise that I did over the past couple weeks. I went through my old stuff and I saw some old letters that I wrote to my future self, and it was really cool. So I have the letters in front of me. So we're gonna do a little exercise like that, and we're also gonna do our weekly tarot, and we're gonna do all the stuff that we were doing. But before we get started, I just wanted to give you guys just a big update on myself. So right now, I graduated. So I have my master's degree. I am a certified clinician. By the end of this weekend, I'm going to get my credentials to be in LA. The credential is LAPC. So I'm going to be a licensed associate professional counselor. So what that means is I can start to see clients individually. However, I am going to have to be supervised, and there's some insurances that I cannot cover. So depending on what insurance you have, I could either see you guys individually or not. But I will put the link in the details. I'm going to work under my boss at my job. She is a licensed social worker. So she is going to take me under her wing, and I'm going to be able to see some clients. So I graduated earlier in May. It has been a crazy time since the last time we have recorded, and the last time we've all seen each other. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that first update. So now I have my LAPC. So I'm a licensed associate professional counselor. So I can start to see clients individually. So if you guys know somebody that is going through it, that might be, stressed out, that might, need some guidance and stuff, I'm here, and there's a bunch of other people here that can help. So yeah, so now that I got my MA in clinical counseling, I'm ready to get started. So I wanted to start with that update. And when it comes to this podcast, it's going to be a lot of that, because starting next week, we're going to really hit the ground running. We're going to talk a lot about values, and we're going to talk a lot more about um, attachment, because I know the last podcast we talked about attachment and stuff. So I really want to get into all of that stuff with you guys. It's just right now, I just wanted to give you guys just an update on what the heck I've been doing in my life these past 3 months. So I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be honest. This year, this journey that I've been on has been a roller coaster, ups and downs and twists and turns. And honestly, at times it was really intense. I'm not going to put names on this podcast because, I'm, again, just out of respect for them. But let's just say I had a couple close family members of mine. They're going through their own mental health journey, and they are in a way better position now than they were. But those people, they did have some trouble with the law, and this past year, it was really hard for me to be that supportive person in the family, while also trying to record podcasts, while also trying to finish school, do my internship, work full time. So at times it was really hard to come up with the strength to continue to go. And that's part of the reason why, with this podcast, I had to take a step back for the past couple months. Just like when you see the people that you love and you care about go through their own ups and downs, it's hard. It's hard being the one that has all this pressure on you to finish school, to continue to go. And, you want to set the standards, you want to show that, we're not going to repeat that cycle. And at times it was really hard. It was really overwhelming. So the fact that I was able to get through that really rough patch, I'm really proud of myself, and I'm coming out of it very recharged. So that was something that happened. At times, my personal stuff became too much in my life, that I did have to break up. I went through a breakup as well. Dated my ex for a very long time. We really loved each other, but the long distance was just not, it just wasn't working out. It was just bringing out a lot of the negativities, the negative qualities of both of us. And we ended on good terms. But that was something else too, like it was just, I needed to take a step back. And these past 3 months, that's what I was doing. I took a step back and what is the universe showing me? What is life showing me here? Like it's tough to really take a step back and acknowledge what's going on, because in our future podcast we're going to talk about avoidance. But at times I was avoiding it, like I really wanted to make this relationship work, and I was avoiding my feelings. I was avoiding myself and what I needed, right? I was so focused on trying to make the relationship work that I myself was losing myself. So you take the family stuff with my relationship stuff, with all the other pressures of school, internship, work, like it was very, very intense, and it was a very crazy past 4 or 5 months. But now I come out of it. I graduated. I got my master's degree. I'm finally starting to take a step back. I'm not seeing clients and having so much internship stuff, doing that for free. I can actually build my money up, save my money up. So it's like I'm starting to get back. And this podcast is just me being honest with you guys with what the heck is going on, because I really feel like that's what makes this podcast very special, is the honest conversations in the space that I want to provide for you guys. So that's something I want you guys to think about as well as you guys are listening to me. I want you guys to think about how your life has been this past year. Like how have you guys gone through some family stuff? Have you guys have gone through some personal stuff? Like it's tough. Like with life, it's just you have your peaks and your valleys, but like during those low moments, like you are learning a lot about yourself. And one thing I realized with myself through my breakup and through, just like taking a step back with some personal family stuff, like I really learned that like I have a really great power of being open and connecting people. And that's something I really want to cherish and continue to do as I embark on my next journey, which is, I got to get my license so that way I can be an LPC. Right now I'm an associate. So if you guys have seen Deadpool, you guys know Deadpool, how he wore the trainee, he wore the trainee little scarf as he was training to be a hero. That's how I am right now. I am a trainee to be a counselor right now. So I can see clients, but I can't I can't do what I really want to do, if you get what I'm saying. I have to work under somebody for a year and a half, which sucks, but that's just the life of being a counselor, a mental health counselor. It is what it is. But yeah, so I wanted to start the podcast with that. While I also completely changed my apartment too. So like there's been a lot of changes. Like I got a sofa now, I got a nice desk. I wish I had a nice little better background, but it's whatever. But anyway, before we get too sidetracked, I found as I was cleaning up stuff in my apartment, I found letters that I wrote to myself when I was younger. I have the letters out in front of me. I put them on my notes. And I really feel like I don't know if you guys have ever done this exercise, but I really feel like it can be very powerful. And if you guys need a link, I can always put it in the show description once I'm done recording. But what you do is it's self-reflection. So like you're giving yourself time to reflect on yourself. So you can either write a letter to your past self. So like you can visualize yourself now talking to your younger self. So let's picture like yourself at 13 if you're in your 20s, yourself at 10 if you're at 18, 19 years old, because there is a saying, I'm not going to quote this word for word because I'm not that straight off the dome, but like there was once a point in your life where you wished are where you are now, if you get what I'm saying. So for instance, when you were younger, let's say 10, 11 years old. We might have had dreams to accomplish something. And as we get older, we get closer to accomplishing those dreams. So this letter to yourself exercise can be really powerful because it really puts your life into perspective. And I read some of the letters I wrote at 13. I ended up creating a music song, a music song about it. It's okay. I'm still working on my flow. I'm not, I'm gonna start creating music too, but I gotta. I'm a work in progress when it comes to that. So bear with me there. But I found a bunch of old letters, and one of the letters that really stood out to me. I was 13 years old. I don't want to put I'm not going to put my family's business in there, but let's say one of my family members, they did try to overdose um because of a relationship that was no longer working out. And I wrote a letter that day, and I just talked about how, like for me and my relationships, I really want to have a partner that, truly understands me, that like is not going to, like put me in those extremes, where it's like it's that all or nothing, where it's like you either have all of your partner or none of your partner. And I wrote 2 pages, just saying to myself, like I got to create boundaries. I got to, like I got to really like love myself before I love somebody else. And, like that was something that I wish that my future self eventually gets to. And I also wrote too about how like I wanted to be an MLB player, and I wanted to, graduate high school and go to college, and be the first family member in my family circle to break that cycle of, these relationships where they become so intense and you become consumed by them. And just reading that letter, it was really, really powerful. It truly was. It went back to like what it was at that time period, and it was really, yeah, it was just really eye opening for me because it just showed me just like how much I have grown from them. And my apologies, guys. Yeah, this exercise is very intense. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, like it puts your life in perspective, and it just shows you just how much you have grown from there. And yeah, like that was something that was just really eye opening for me. And like I ended up creating a song about it, and like now I'm creating a podcast about it. Like it's really important to be open and to be vulnerable because like you don't realize what other people are going through. So yeah, so I did that exercise. It was really helpful. It was really healing. And yeah, so like I've been doing that. I went to I went to Reiki. I saw this woman for the first time. I connected with my grandfather, which was really, really healing. So like it's just been a mixture of highs and lows, and I'm coming out of this a new person, motivated, ready to make change, feeling a lot more connected with myself. And it sucks because like I had to say goodbye to a lot of awesome people, but at the same time, you got to advocate for yourself at the end of the day, and that's something that I've learned and I've appreciated. So I 10 out of 10 recommend no more of that sentimental crap. I 10 out of 10 recommend that exercise for you guys. It's really healing, and like it can really help boost your confidence when you do it right. Like especially, like when you just look at yourself in that time period. Like it really um it changes your mindset because like we just get in this routine where we come home, we work, we go to school, like we just continue to do all this stuff. But like we are slowly losing ourselves, and we lose the things that, like we appreciate, or we might not we might not like love ourselves enough because we're just consumed by the day-to-day grind. So like having those exercises where it just slows you down and puts your life back in perspective can be really powerful. So I 10 out of 10 recommend it. If for anyone that is feeling stuck or needs to heal or needs to, like take steps to grow, it can be really powerful. So yeah, so that's a little bit of the letters to myself that I wanted to share. Yeah, because that was a really tough time period. Yeah, but I will say, though, just continuing, I wanted to wrap up the beginning of this conversation with a big shout out. So another part of my letters was, and this one's a more positive story, is my grandmother. I was 10 years old. Yes, I wrote a letter at 10 years old because I'm crazy. My grandmother at the time, so no disrespect to my dad and mom, they were both working on their own stuff at the time period. When I was 10, I didn't see both of them. My dad was working on himself, and my mom found a new relationship. I mean, it ended up being a really great relationship, but she was trying to find herself too. So it was the summer of 2010. It was me, my grandmother, and my brother. And I used to work at the I used to work at my grandmom's hair salon. She ran that salon for 50 years. And it was funny because like when I graduated, my dad, it was so great seeing my dad and my grandmother just catch up. I don't know why. I was just like, this is awesome. My dad was talking to my grandmother about the clients and stuff, and it was so awesome. It really was. But anyway, let me get a sip of water real quick. Give me 1 second, people. Give me 1 second. All right, but anyway, um, yeah. So I came across this letter, and my grandmother, I got to give her a shout out because she gave me one of the most powerful life lessons that I wanted to share on this podcast. So my grandmother, bless her soul, man, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this. So I was 10, working at the shop. I was definitely going through it. Had some anger problems because, like yeah, when you don't have your parents, like kids respond a certain way. They just do. But my grandmother taught me a variable life lesson. So I was working at the shop, cutting hair and stuff. She would give me 25 hours a week. This was I'll never forget this. She gave me 25 hours a week. Josh, good job. Like you're going to the shop. She would also pay for my lunches. So my grandmother was not cheap. I mean, giving a 10-year-old 25 hours a week, like, that's pretty tough. Um, but anyway, let me digress. She, man, so she took 25 hours. She would take 15 of it, let me keep 10. And at the time, I was like, man, I'm getting $10. This is awesome. But I was like, didn't I get 25? She was looking at me. She was like, I'm going to give you the remaining amount of money at the end of the summer. And at the time, I'm 10. I'm like, this is BS, man. What the heck is wrong with you? What is wrong with this? What? So she was like, stay consistent and watch how much this money grows. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, I believe you. I'm like, all right, I believe you, whatever. So weeks go by. I'm still getting 10 a week. I'm getting 10 a week. I'm getting 10 a week. 15 is getting saved. She's putting it in a jar. It was at one point where like I would see the jar and I'm just like, that's all my money that I'm earning from. I'm washing the towels. I'm staying with you after hours. We're talking, we're cracking up, having a great time, talking with clients. I'm like, I deserve more than $10 a week, mama. I do. But anyway, the end of the summer came and she gave me all of the remaining money. I'm not gonna lie to you, I probably had about like 400 hours. 400. And not 400, that's a little exaggeration, but probably like 2 to 300 extra dollars. And she looked at me and she goes, Josh, I told you to stay consistent and you did. Like you didn't miss a week. She was like, I know A lot's going on, but see what happens when you stay consistent through all of the madness. You get rewarded. You learn how to continue to push. You learn how to block out the negativity that's going on. And that's a story that I personally will never forget in my life. And I know I usually don't get emotional on podcasts, but I think those two stories just really hit home. And like I think it's really important to be open and honest because like this is part of the journey that I'm on. Like I have worked so hard to get get to where I am now. And at times it was just really, really hard. It was really difficult to block out all of the all of the madness, the yelling, the stress, the like just seeing people you love just going through it. And like I'm coming out of this just like I'm rewarded through staying consistent. And that's something I want you guys to continue, like just to think about as you are going through your own challenges, is to stay consistent, stay on the path that you're on. It's very easy to just quit and to give up or become very overwhelmed with it. But like you stay consistent, you stay close to the people that support you, that care for you, and like you keep going. And things eventually will work out. There's a term called radical acceptance. I talk about this term a lot with my kids. It's because I work with a lot of kids right now that are sort of stuck in the position I was, where you have a situation where so many things are happening that are beyond your control. You have no control. And it's like, okay, like what can I do to keep going through all this madness? Like I'm still expected to go to school. I'm still expected, to handle my business. But, like it's like, what do I do to keep going? And radical acceptance is a term where you take the time and you have to reflect and you have to accept the things that's going on in your life. And that was something that it took me a very long time to realize because when you're younger, like I would either blame myself, like, I'm the reason why all this is happening, or I would be like, I'm the or oh, it's their fault. They need to get their stuff together, But like as you get close to this acceptance, like you learned, it gives you a new perspective. It gives you like what the other people do no longer affects you anymore. You're able to keep pushing like, hey, this is my reality. This is what's going on in my life. And this is what I need to do to keep going. And I will get there. I just have to continue to stay consistent. I have to continue to try my best. And that's something that I have learned a lot during these past 25 years of my life. Not 25, I'd probably say like 20. But anyway, so like I think that's just what makes this and my story very powerful. Because like you remember those moments. Especially when you succeed and you've accomplished something you've worked so hard for. Like that 10-year-old story, I saw that letter and my light bulb, my head just immediately flickered. I was like, damn, like, yeah, I don't know if my grandmother still remembers that story, but that is a story that personally, like I will never forget. And I want you guys to think about your own lives too, like whether it's a teacher said something to you, whether that is a loved one that said something to you. Think about a story in which somebody has said something to you that you don't forget. that you cherish, because that's the power of human connection, like you all it takes is just one person, just like how it takes one person to say or do one thing to bring you down. All it takes is on the other side, one person to say one positive thing, maybe on a day that you were feeling your lowest, and it recharged you, it brought you up, and that's something that my story with my grandmother when I was 10, that was a moment for me, because like I said, that summer sucked. Like, I didn't see both of my parents. uh, they both were really working on themselves. I'm really close with them now. I'm lucky to be very close with them now, but I will be honest, like, that was a really tough time period. And my grandmother made that summer so memorable by teaching me that lesson, taking me to baseball, taking me to everywhere, and just teaching me how once you commit to something, you keep going. And, like, you don't realize that impact there, but as you get older, you really realize the impact. So I just want you guys to think about that as well. Think about a moment in your life where that has happened. Someone said something to you that was powerful, that it's still living on in your life today. Sometimes we're not going to acknowledge it because it's just life. But yeah, so yeah, that's a little bit of my story. I know got a little bit vulnerable with you guys. It's just yeah, like it was real. It's been a really powerful 3 months, a lot of healing, a lot of growth, and here we are. So, all right. So to wrap up this podcast, because we're almost at a half hour already. I can't believe it. Time flies. We're gonna do a weekly tarot card reading. So this is just energy for you guys to expect for the upcoming week. So my ancestors, and if you guys see my background, I got a little altar. I got my grandfather's hats. I'm really, really excited for it. So like he's with me now, and he's been another one that I really appreciate. I had a Reiki session. I was bawling my eyes out. The lady's like, "Yeah, your grandfather came in." I was like, "My grandfather? I was like, "What's happening?" And yeah, his messages were so powerful, but I'll save that story for another day. All right. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. We're going to do our weekly reading. And here we go. So, all right, there's one. So my question for you guys is energy we should expect for the upcoming week. I know the full moon was this week, so I apologize. I should have dropped the podcast earlier, but I didn't. So, man, oh man. Hold on. Give me 1 second, people. 1 second. Oh man, sheesh. Oh my God. Oh man. All right, people, I'm back. Yeah, that was crazy. My nose was going crazy. Let me tell you, Jesus. I was like, oh God. All right. Back to the tarot reading. Sheesh. All right, here we go. All right, so here's what we got. So I updated my tarot reading. So now I do Oracle as well. But I'll save the Oracle for next week. All right, but my apologies, guys. I had to blow my nose. That was crazy. That's the thing with being vulnerable, man. Like a little kid. You guys all know the little kids. You know what happens with the little kids when they get in trouble. They're like, and then you're just like, just say a word, say a word. And their snot's just dripping down their nose and everything. And yeah, that's what was happening to me. So, all right. So here we go. First card we got the Ace of Cups. Hold on. Let me see if you guys can see it. Oh, God. Oh, man. This blurry background. This is not it. As you guys can see, Ace of Cups, and yeah, I was already in tears. So this is emotional energy, obviously. All right, so the first card, here's what it says for me, and we'll do our own interpretation. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Ace of Cups. Love, fulfillment, new beginnings. The Ace of Cups represents feeling free and happy with everything surrounding you. If you're not feeling it yet, no worries. Soon you'll be experiencing a sunny time in your life, full of energy and positive emotions. If the Ace of Cups is ruling in your reading, you want to embrace your social side. This minor arcana card is a big indicator of forming new relationships, whether this is on a romantic front or on a platonic level. If you have been considering going out more, now is a great time to do so. Your positive energy will attract new friendships and relationships that will bring success in career, money, love, and your overall health. So, this first card, Ace of Cups. If you guys are feeling more social, embrace it. Go out, put yourself out there, connect with new people. We might have been surrounded ourselves with the same people over and over and over again. Now's the time to just branch out, explore, meet new people. That's what this first card is saying. It's a very positive, open card. All right. The second card we have is the Three of Pentacles. So, Pentacles is earth energy. So, that way you guys know. So, here's what we got for the Three of Pentacles. All right. Teamwork, focus, effort, mastery. Because the pentacles looks like coins and are often illustrated this way, we often assume that they are associated with finances. Yet the Three of Pentacles is less about money and more about mastery. It represents studying and apprenticeship and is an encouragement that you are on the right track. You are competent at what you do and you are making progress. However, the Three of Pentacles card is also a sign of collaboration with others. It teaches you not to ignore the talents of those that surround you and creates synergy to accomplish even greater results. After all, teamwork makes the dream work. So, with this card, this is all about teamwork. So these first two cards, you got embracing your social side, and then now you have this energy that's involving teamwork, collaboration. So think about the areas in your guys' life. You might feel the urge to work together with peers. Tap into that. Just like how this podcast gives you something. I know that me and my friends, right, their energy is going to help contribute some way, right? So apply that to your life. Think of an area in which, like, all right, I want to embrace, be a little more social. All right, and can I work as a team here? Because we can't do this alone. If you try to do everything alone, you're just going to beat yourself up. It takes a village, as people say, and it really does. All right, so the next one we have the Four of Swords. As you guys can see, it's a person laying down. And yeah, there's some swords. Oh man, this one seems a little bit on the negative side, but here we go. All right, Four of Swords, anxiety, overstimulation, chaos. Have you been feeling overloaded and stressed out lately? The Four of Swords indicates feelings of overstimulation, being out of touch, and overwhelmed in life. The day-to-day hustle and bustle can leave even the toughest person feeling mentally drained and in need of some alone time. If this resonates with you, follow your instincts and take a step back from the chaos of your life. Spending time alone to relax and recharge will be just the thing to get you feeling back to normal once again. Again, this goes back to, like the day-to-day grind. At times, are we doing too much? Do we need to take a step back and slow down a little bit? Watch a TV show when you come home instead of doing this, this, and this, right? So that's something just to think about. So those are our three cards. So we got our positive social side. You might be feeling more energized to be social with people, but also work as a team. Instead of trying to take on things alone, connect with your friends, connect with the people around you. Okay, is there a project that you guys could all work together on? It's something to think about. And the last card, if you start to feel overstimulated or you start to feel like, oh, this is so much chaos, this is, like, all right, do I need to take a step back? Do I need to just sit and just breathe, right? Because it can be hard to do that. I know for me, I've been so trained to just go, 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 go all the time that like being able to just sit still and chill is and that's not a rhyme that's going to be on my future song, by the way. um, can be overwhelming, you know? So just make sure that you are taking the time to do that as well in the midst of all of the things that we are doing. Summer is here. So make sure you guys are taking the time to relax, enjoy it, and have some fun. So those are our 3 questions for today. You guys have seen probably a brand new vulnerable side of me. I am not going to lie to you. And the fact that I had to pause this podcast to blow my nose because I had boogies going down my nose. You guys have seen a more vulnerable side of me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I want you guys a couple things before we wrap up. I want you guys, if you feel like you're ready, take the time and do that self-reflection exercise. Go back to a time period where you were younger, or on the contrary, think of a time period where you were younger and where you are now and what you're learning. If you guys are curious, I can put some journal prompts in the show description for you guys. And also, too, I will be back next week. So I'm not going to do another 3-month hiatus. All right. So your boy is back once a week. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the storytelling. And yeah, if you guys have any stories, feel free to share, connect. My email is on my podcast page. So do not be a stranger. You know, we're not alone. You know, that's how we all work together. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Remember, tap into your social side, have fun. If you're not a fan of the podcast already, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Your boy is everywhere. And yeah, I'm going to continue to be that way. Stay tuned for my music project. I am on a little music kick. I'm creating mental health songs, talking a little bit about my life and talking about some things I've learned. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well on that project. So I got a bunch of little projects coming up. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Enjoy the sun. It's beautiful out, especially if you're in the Philadelphia area. Stay safe. And this is Josh officially signing off.